let me tell you something!
If your song is played on a local radio station somewhere in Central Europe, where almost no one knows what K-pop is, let alone Blackpink, and definitely no one knows who ROSÉ is, then you've made it. The second sign is when kids somewhere in Central Europe are doing this. And the final sign is when guys somewhere in Central Europe are making clumsy guitar covers. By the way, I think Central Europe is more commonly referred to as Eastern Europe. Just so you don't have to Google it. Anyway, I'm walking on a thin ice here, because I dare to suggest that the number one girl for many people is not big enough. Maybe the netizens will virtually whack me by morning. I understand it's crazy to say that someone who has over 80 million followers on Instagram and is a member of one of the biggest K-pop girl groups isn't popular enough. But the world is big, you know, and the invisible walls between Asia and the so-called Western world are still standing. The K-pop and K-pop idols are still met with prejudice, ridicule, and sometimes even blatant hatred. You know, in some people's eyes, you are a little less when you are a K-pop idol. Why do you think K-pop has its own category in Western music awards? Out of respect? Come on. And as we've seen, nobody cares that a particular song is entirely in English. Once a K-pop idol, always a K-pop idol, it seems. ROSÉ, however, is well on her way to changing that. Fortunately, she's no rookie. She knows the game. She's been through the grueling flames of the K-pop system. That's why she's also made some pretty smart moves, like signing a management deal with Teddy's Black label. This of course caused a wave of disappointment and anger in internet discussions because people thought she will be releasing music under them. But I repeat, it's management deal. ROSÉ knows these guys and trusts them to take good care of her. Because the last thing you want is to get fucked by some Western pricks. Because as we learned by now, in some cases, that's quite literal.
Mi scusi!
It's a win-win situation. ROSÉ already has a large fan base and is well established, so Atlantic Records, under which she releases her music, don't have to work as hard on promotion and can reap the sweet rewards. While for ROSÉ, they serve as a gateway to the Western audience. Because these guys, of course, have the contacts, have the resources, have the knowledge of the music business like no one else. Because they are the ones shaping it. And with the release of APT, it brought about a collision of two galaxies, successfully bridging two very different audiences. You know, the obsessive, possessive Asian fans who thinks that idols are these perfect beings, innocent, flawless, always cheerful, and most importantly, never dating anyone. And perverse, immoral, unscrupulous Western fans who want to do drugs and fuck with them, ideally. I'm joking, of course. Asian fans want to fuck with them too.
It's funny, you're a funny guy.
The song APT managed to unite these two audiences into one, catapulting ROSÉ into even the most remote corners of the world. And in return, practically turning Bruno Mars into K-pop idol. And all of this without typical K-pop sound, intricate choreography, without background dancers, without expensive music videos. But ROSÉ embraced the Korean culture, showed a little piece of it to the world, and brought people across the planet together through a drinking game. Typical. She also showcased her fun side and ability to deliver mainstream music for masses, which K-pop isn't, despite what some people might think. APT is a song with a few Korean words, sparking curiosity amongst Western listeners and a smile amongst Korean, but the sound is entirely Western. And it's no coincidence that her first true solo track features a global star like Bruno Mars. As I said, these American guys are not stupid. Thanks to Bruno Mars, APT got a chance from many people who would otherwise ignore it, because they have no idea who or what ROSÉ is. They didn't leave the songwriting to chance either. APT was written by an entire army army of songwriters, including the writers of Mickey, which is sampled in the track. And if you browse Reddit and other places, you'll see people trying to figure out which other songs APT reminds them of. You know, the bridge sounds like this, the pre-chorus sounds like this, and so on and so on. It almost seems like the songwriters did it on purpose, to get people talking about the song as much as possible. It's a strategy. All of this, everything I mentioned, has resulted in APT accumulating almost 1 billion streams or views on Spotify and YouTube combined. Less than 2 months after its release, and the numbers keep growing. APT is dominating charts, winning music awards, and the Malaysian government labeled it harmful because ROSÉ is inviting someone to her apartment to do a little kissy kissy. It's an incredible success. One could even say unexpected, especially considering that the song wasn't promoted at all before its release. ROSÉ just posted day or two before the release that some APT with Bruno Mars was coming out. With this, ROSÉ has put herself on a global listener map, arguably like no other female K-pop idol before her. Even one of my buddies who usually listens only to rap and EDM has fallen into her black and pink clutches. It's absolutely insane. And recently ROSÉ dropped another song, Number One Girl, this slower, intimate ballad that for some confirmed and for others revealed that her vocals are a force to be reckoned with. It also showed that she's not a one-trick pony and she can shine in a more serious song. And once again without a trace of K-pop. ROSÉ will be her first solo album. She's only 27 years old. And again, it's crazy to say this about someone who has already 8 years of successful career behind them. But ROSÉ is just getting started. And she's off to a strong start. And I think she's going to go very far. I'm not some old gypsy lady predicting the future, but let's try coming back to this video in a few years to see if ROSÉ did or didn't become the next big superstar, okay? One thing I can tell you for sure, guys, she definitely won't fuck you. Deal with it, okay? Don't take everything so seriously. Cheerio.